The next slide we're going to examine is that of lichen sclerosus. Lichen sclerosus can be found in your virtual slide library along the left-hand side of your screen under Interface and Lichenoid Reaction Patterns. Starting at low power, we can almost make this diagnosis without even going to higher power in this particular specimen. So I want to point out some of the characteristic features of lichen sclerosus simply at low power to begin with. The first finding is that of relative hyperorthokeratosis within the stratum corneum. If we look at the epidermis, we can see that the reedy ridge pattern is mostly intact, but even at this power you can start to make out some slight areas of vacuolar change along the dermal epidermal junction. And this is guiding us towards a diagnostic category of interface dermatitis. The next feature that we see in this slide, which kind of jumps out at us, is homogenization of the papillary dermal collagen, where the collagen appears much lighter in color and less pink than that of collagen present within the reticular dermis. Moreover, you can start to see that an inflammatory infiltrate is building up that almost appears lichenoid, but instead of being lichenoid along the dermal epidermal junction, this inflammatory infiltrate is lichenoid abutting against the areas of homogenization of the papillary dermal collagen. So now let's take a look at the specimen on higher power. Again, on higher power, we can start to see some hyperorthokeratosis. There are small focal areas of vacuolar change along the dermal epidermal junction, and you'll find occasional dyskeratotic and apoptotic keratinocytes present here as well. Again, one of the most characteristic features is that of this lightening of the pink, normal pink collagen color present within the papillary dermis, with lymphocytic inflammation lining up along these areas of altered collagen, a finding that is virtually diagnostic of lichen sclerosus. Now, what other diagnoses can we consider in the differential diagnosis for this condition? Let's take a look again at low power. Well, if you just had the papillary dermis to look at, one could certainly think of a radiation dermatitis. In radiation dermatitis, you can see at times areas of vacuolar change along the dermal epidermal junction, and this light pink colored collagen present within the papillary dermis. You would not typically expect to find this sort of band-like infiltrate abutting the areas of altered collagen. And moreover, in radiation dermatitis, one would also expect to find large and somewhat atypical appearing fibroblasts, or the so-called radiation fibroblasts, that would be absent in a typical case of lichen sclerosus.